Good afternoon and welcome to the roundtable Quality of Life in the Cities and Buildings of the Future. This session brings together the companies belonging to two thematic areas of Federated Innovation at Mind: construction tech and Proptech and smart spaces. During the main session we just finished, you heard a little bit more about what the status of Federated Innovation at Mind, what's so special about it, and you had a general introduction to the innovation agenda as a key backbone of the innovation strategy of the companies who have joined Federated Innovation at Mind. This session, which will last 90 minutes, is a roundtable that has a main purpose to give you a little bit more than a flavor, more an understanding of the innovation agendas of both thematic areas. In summary, what is the key strategic domains, what are the challenges they want to tackle, the initiatives they want to lead together, and potentially what are the connections, the synergies between construction tech and Proptech and smart spaces ecosystems. The journey has lasted more than 3 months and involved a very enthusiastic team of both thematic areas. And now you know that these agendas are published on the digital square of Federated Innovation. The purpose of these, to make them open and public, is because this system is open and transparent, but also to explain what's the commitment in terms of companies in terms of innovation projects. In a way, this creates, first of all, like a top-down process where all the companies are explaining what they commit to achieve in terms of innovation projects. But the agendas can act as a magnet to attract ideas, projects, opportunities coming from the wider ecosystem, the startups, small and medium enterprises, and individual talents who are potentially inspired by these innovation agendas and would like to commit or to contribute with new ideas and projects. For this reason, this breakout will be followed by a 30 minutes Q&A session where you'll have the chance to ask any question you like. There is a specific button, chat button on your link, so feel free to start asking your question. There will be time to answer them at the end of this roundtable. So before starting the roundtable, let me introduce the speakers of this session. Let's start first of all with the speakers of the construction tech thematic area. So I welcome Anna Bortolussi from Mapei, Italy Major Projects Division responsible. Welcome, Anna.
Good afternoon.
From Woodbeton, Deborah Nezzosi, Senior Project Engineer, Major Projects. And you are on mute, but we can see you waving and say hello. And no worries. From Podium, Susan Constantine, Head of Business Digital Europe. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, thank you.
And you also have Maria Milita from Stora Enso, Business Development Manager, who will join us in there she is. Maria Milita, Stora Enso, Business Development Manager. Thank you very much. So these are the speakers of the construction tech. Now let me introduce the speakers from the Proptech and smart spaces thematic area. They are coming. Okay, so we have from Schneider Electric, Andrea Natale, Business Development and Marketing Manager, Digital Energy.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for being here.
We have from Daikin, Furui, Senior Engineer, Technology and Innovation Center. Welcome, Shuji.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
From Lend-Lease, Simone Santi, Development Director, Mind, Head of Office, Italy.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
From ABB, Aldo Sciacca, Smart Buildings Division Portfolio Manager. Welcome, Aldo.
Hi, everybody. Happy to have you here.
And we have two speakers from Accenture, Silvia Bertolotti, Accenture Asset Performance Management Manager.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon.
And Andrea Dentone, Milan Industry X Innovation Center Director.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, thank you. This was actually like a little get together to present the speakers. Then we'll start right away. We'll with a round table. So the round table is divided in three parts. It will be kind of quick. The first round of questions about the introduction, to some extent explaining the reasons why these companies have joined Federated Innovation. There will be a mid-section devoted entirely to innovation agendas explanation. And the third one will be about the next steps. In other words, how to bring these ideas into life after this session. So let me call on stage for the first question, Simone Santi of Lend-Lease. Simone, just a quick intro. 32 leading innovators of different sectors, business models, size, geographical coverage, shareholding structure, have chosen to join Federated Innovation Mind as founders. But everything started with the intuition of an innovative real estate developer like Lend-Lease. What vision led Lend-Lease to promote Federated Innovation concept in the mind area?
Thank you, Eduardo. Thanks for the question. Well, I would say that first and foremost, the idea that we've developed throughout the development of Mind, of the project, was to ensure that this wasn't just about real estate. And Lend-Lease, as probably most of you know, is an urban regenerator. We operate across the globe, more specifically in the four regions of Australia or Oceania, Asia, Europe, and North America. For us, it was really important to ensure that Mind wasn't just about real estate. And I think that we took a really strong inspiration by the work that our public partner, Art Expo, had done ahead of our arrival on the project. And what do I mean by that? Art Expo has been extremely successful in securing a number of public anchors that today are present or will be completely present on the project at Mind by 2025 with the arrival of the third anchor, which is UniMi, Università Statale di Milano, which has led us to believe that we had all the right ingredients, transportation, positioning, anchors, public anchors, as I just said, to turn this project on its head, so to speak, and make it an innovation district based on the presence of a number of like-minded enterprises and companies, which today form the Federated Innovation. So to wrap it up, I think that what really inspired us was the fact that we had capital, which were the three big public anchors that we could capitalize on, and the idea that we could turn this project into something much more than a real estate proposition. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Simone. In fact, actually, the idea of Lend-Lease to turn Mind into something more than real estate attracted different companies. So let's start with one of the founders, Schneider Electric. So I call Andrea Natale on stage. Andrea, welcome. So Schneider Electric is already very engaged in bringing the district and city of future to life. Let's say even other situation beyond or before Federated Innovation in Mind. But can you please remind us what is Schneider Electric purpose and how will Federated Innovation support the achievement of your ambition?
Yes, thank you. Schneider Electric purpose is to empower all to make the most of our energy and resource, bridging so progress and sustainability for all. At Schneider, in fact, we call this Life is On. And we have an innovation program called Innovation at the Edge, which invests in new ideas, emerging technologies, and business models that both challenge and complement the Schneider Electric of today, so that Federated Innovation might represent for us a unique and tremendous innovation ecosystem in which institutions, we saw before, companies with different knowledge, sides, industrial background, come together to do what? To find answer and solution which are not possible to get alone by Schneider Electric, but also alone by any other player and founders of the ecosystem. So as we move to a sustainable and electric future, Schneider Electric is willing to make available in mind its deep history of technology leadership to develop innovative solutions. Within our thematic area, we still later called Proptech and smart spaces, but also together with other thematic areas, in line with the objective to increase efficiency and to lower emissions.
Thank you, Andrea. And in the end, it's a confirmation that companies are joining because they can find a coalition of companies that can get together to achieve certain objectives, to accelerate the achievement of a purpose, not only within the thematic areas, but also with other thematic areas. We'll explore a bit the connection with other thematic areas afterwards, because it's one of the key principle of Federated Innovation is to enable cross-sector innovation. And so actually, thank you, Andrea. Let me call in Susan Constantine from Podium on stage. Welcome, Susan. Okay, so first of all, we're not entirely sure that everybody on this roundtable is aware of what is let's say the Podium mission. And so can you help us understand what is Podium mission, and particularly why that mission can accelerate the digital revolution in the construction ecosystem, and why at Federated Innovation? 3 questions in one.
Sure, great. And actually, I think all of those questions fit together in one answer, because Podium is at the heart. What we're building is an end-to-end digital platform, and it's being developed for the property lifecycle. That means across the work that we're doing, from design into construction and into operations. And the intent is to use data and digital technologies to move us into creating better buildings and to creating better spaces at the end of the day. And so as we're developing this new technology, one of our missions is to partner with our ecosystem across the property and both construction industries. And I think that one of the areas that our industry is lacking, especially in construction, is research and development, especially when you start looking at cross collaboration between different parties. And that for us is one of the areas that we want to look at. How do we look at concurrent design, collaborative design across different disciplines? And that to me is why it fit very well both at Mind and also at the Federated Innovation, because that is the heart of what you're doing at Federated Innovation. And that's the heart of what we want to do, is how do we partner together to put R&D back into our industry to create better buildings, to create better products, and to change the way that we're building them also.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. And it seems like, this platform is also working, again, not only for construction tech and prop tech, but also other, there are other projects that belong into that, like energy, that can take advantage of the same platform. So that's an interesting, it could be like a general platform for the development of the ecosystem, isn't
Correct. it? We are looking at it on multiple areas. And so currently the platform is set up with a series of different products and services as well. When we get further into the kind of different thematic areas, in the area of what we focused in on construction tech, that brought us to the development that we've been focusing more on the design and the assembly side. But again, focusing where we're also linked very well to the different thematic areas, particularly in smart spaces, which we're going to talk to here, and with energy as well, because we do have the Podium asset services across the infrastructure and energy, as long as what we're doing within property insights, where we're developing how we roll that into the experiences into the site as well. So yes, it's connected not only into the work we're doing within this thematic area, but across the different thematic areas.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Now let's move on to the next block of questions. The event is called Collaborate to Compete. So competition and rivalry has always been closely associated. At Federated Innovation, there is a kind of new idea that it's possible to foster a collaboration amongst those market leaders to invest on innovative solutions for the city of the future. It's a real challenge, but it's also an exciting opportunity to achieve what can be achieved only by a coalition of like-minded competitors. So can I call in for this a small group, Deborah Nezzosi of Wood Baton, Aldo Sciacca of ABB, and Andrea Dentone of Accenture. Okay, there's a mini roundtable in the roundtable. So let me start with Aldo and Deborah. But let's start with Aldo first. Aldo, so what are the benefits of collaborating with competitors? And what has been your experience in Federated Innovation and mine? Because it's clear that in this area, there are direct competitors working together. So what are the benefits and what is your experience so far working within Federated Innovation?
Thanks, Eduardo. Well, about the benefits, the expected benefits, there is one that is very strong and prevail to all the others that one can figure out. It is the fact that we aim to create a real ecosystem here in mind. And as Professor Frattini said in the first hour of this event, there is a test bed available. That is the smart city in Fieri, that is the mine district. So that's a unique occasion. And to bring innovation at a level that goes beyond a single building, so it is at district or city level, it is a big challenge. And in most of the cases, it's a challenge that one company alone simply cannot afford. So it is very important that we join forces with all the stakeholders. Typically, it can be a customer, can be suppliers, can be institution, academia, for instance, but also competitors, because no one will win alone in that challenge at that age. So that's the point for us.
Thank you, Aldo. Deborah, any comment from your side? So from the construction tech thematic area.
Well, the competition is fundamental for a company to test the level of its products, organization, strategies. Your competitors face your same problems and your same requests from the clients and from the market. The different way the companies read this scenario is the key of success. A competitive environment can give you the correct evaluation of your value. It is to say that it gives you the opportunity to understand when you have to improve yourself. Furthermore, in a competitive environment, you have to convince the market, and at the same time, you must be able to change according to the changes of the market. This effect, the flexibility, is a powerful weapon in the challenge. In Federated Innovation at mine, we are also experimenting competition of different construction systems. Our partners, our colleagues, promote their products and they are able to highlight the advantages of their products. So we are discussing about timber structures, concrete structures, fiber reinforced concrete structures, steel structure, and so on. And this contest of construction systems often results in an integration of different materials. And we suppose that it is a success for us.
Thank you, Deborah. Andrea, so you look in the job title. Actually, can you explain what is Milan Industry X Innovation Center for Engineering and why this could be a great asset to work in an extensive innovation ecosystem as Federated Innovation?
Sure. So what is MIXIC, Milan Industry X Innovation Center? Let's start to say that the center with its global innovation network is one of the most valued companies for innovation. It's positioned as a leader in the Forrester Wave. That is a report that was issued last Q4 2012, so very recently, in the digital business transformation services. As one of our best practices in terms of innovation, we recently launched this Milan Industry X Innovation Center for Engineering. The name is MIXIC, as we call it. That is a center dedicated to innovation in large industrial and infrastructure investment projects. The aim is to help our clients to address the challenges of digital transformation. And why this can be a great asset to work in an extensive innovation ecosystem like mine? Well, in general, we think that an extensive ecosystem is the right answer to a challenging competitive world. Mind is a perfect example of ecosystem relationships. And it's the right place where to work together to generate new ideas, solutions, and create shared values. As a center, we invest in the ecosystem relationships through our partners, with acquisition, and in our innovation network. So it's in our DNA to work in an immersive ecosystem. MIXIC is an aggregator of the diverse, complex ecosystem of technology partners, association, university, that combine synergies to help drive innovation and digitalization to enterprises. And hence, could be a valuable accelerator to bring solutions at scale.
Thank you, Andrea. And thank you, Andrea, and thanks all MIXIC. Thank you. And so we change change gear, and the final block of questions of this first part is related to, it's called like the assets of Federated Innovation. So Federated Innovation has several distinctive assets: the number and diversification of sectors, the possibility to create public-private partnerships, the presence of a very structured ecosystem support. Now, let me call Furui-san from Daikin on stage. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Joining us at the given the difference in time zone. So Daikin is a global company. You had the chance to join, literally, like many others, but in particular, join innovation ecosystem anywhere. What elements of your innovation strategy are you looking to fulfill in Federated Innovation at Mind ecosystem?
Thank you, Eduardo. So let me start from our company's situation. So currently, Daikin is present over 150 countries all over the world. So however, most of all our business as a manufacturer is associated to the product sales of HVAC systems. So for further our business opportunity and directly contribute toward social responsibility, especially carbon neutrality. So we are seeking the way to drastically change our position from manufacturer and become a solution service provider, capable of optimizing HVAC operation, reducing the energy waste and minimizing grid impact, while guaranteeing the business occupants' comfort. So for this purpose, it's quite important for Daikin to participate in an innovation ecosystem that enables us to collaborate, discuss, and come up with the new sustainable business model and services with partners companies that share the same vision as Daikin. And so far, we have conducted several demonstration projects on energy services in Japan, Europe, US, and Asian countries. So all cases have been successfully carried out due to the large support from partner companies from different sectors: energy, infrastructure, IT networks, government, and so on. So from now on, we need to put their knowledge and technologies up to the actual business stage. So through these activities, one of our innovation strategies is the service provided on the smart buildings and the smart cities, including not only the energy management, but also air quality control, collaborating with controls, sensors, real estate, and architectures and others. So this is why we are joining this Federated Innovation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So now, Anna Bortolussi from Mapei.
Ciao, Leonardo. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So again, Mapei, what benefits have you found for your innovation strategy in being part of Federated Innovation? What's the connection? What are you looking for?
The reason why, we are a chemical company, an Italian chemical company. What we find in Federated Innovation is an open dialogue, kept open by the catalyst, a continuous exchange of ideas, of challenges. The new approach to this project is really surprising us because it's involved issues related to well-being, high-tech, life science. We are producer of chemical products for construction. We were quite far from these issues until now. This community makes Mapei more aware about the importance of ESG principles that are present in any phase of mind development. This fact will be improved, more improved in our R&D activities, looking so farther and farther to what is actually not present on the market and to the future opportunities. The efforts, because we are doing all together huge efforts in every meeting, in every discussion into our thematic area, and among, together with the other companies present in the other thematic areas. Every effort will carry out a new approach directed not to the market need, but to the people need. This is, in our opinion, the real change. We are now looking to people. And this is really something exciting us.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a perfect closure, no? Looking at people, not at just the market. So we close this first round of questions with Stora Enso. Maria is in a kind of challenging environment because she maybe have some background noise. We'll see whether it works. Question for you, Maria, from Stora Enso. So
Yes.
The cross-sector innovation and public-private innovation are two assets, no, of Federated Innovation, possibly to work with different industries and also with public partner. Where in your innovation agenda there are opportunities to create partnership with other sectors or with the public sector?
Yes. Well, we find good opportunities in working with companies from different sectors, but through the same value chain. The first opportunity is to lead to results by sharing experiences and knowledge based on the common stronger vision of a sustainable and digitally connected construction out of wood, but not only wood. Federated Innovation can provide a good basis for promoting cross-border innovation and a platform for sharing knowledge. On the Mind site and also in the Federated Innovation Network, of course, there is a wide range of collaborators from the municipality of Milan to the academic community, and of course some of the leading private companies in each one in its specific areas of expertise. Furthermore, our construction tech team is also very lucky to have the university Professor Pizzari as our ambassador. So we can say that we also use the knowledge coming from the academic world. At this moment, the work is still getting on the way. We know that there is still a lot to do, but what we can say is that we see a lot of opportunities to leverage both assets, cross-sectoral, but also public-private.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thanks for this first round of questions to understand a bit what were the motivation and the connection between company synergies and joining Federated Innovation. Now it's time to explore a bit more in detail the innovation agendas of the two thematic areas. We start with construction tech. So I'll call in again Susan, Constantine. And the question, so let me repeat, because actually you together, you created a vision for the construction tech innovation agenda. And it is, and I quote, propose technologies for a specific use within the construction industry, aiming at improving sustainability, working conditions, efficiency, and health for a better quality of life. So there is technologies kind of right on top. Now, what is the role of technology to overcome the challenges of construction tech ecosystem? Can you make some examples just to bring everything a little bit more to life?
Sure. I think one of the main areas that we're trying to focus on is what we can learn from other industries. And how do we take other industries that focus more on a manufacturing and in an assembly type of logic and bring that into our industry? What that allows us to do is starting to look at different methodologies of how the digital fabrication is brought into our assembly structure. The main way we need to start looking at that is starting to look at changing the process from the beginning. It not only works on the actual components that we design, but the way we design. So how do we move away from a traditional way of designing a project where you go through and design, you're going to bid, and you're going to then go and assemble on site? Instead, we're trying to change from a more project-based design into a more product-based design. This allows us to get ahead of the design and start looking at a more kit of parts type of design, including elements of DFMA, or design for fabrication and assembly. That's one of the key areas when you start looking at DFMA and off-site construction. It allows us to make our on-site construction much safer because you're limiting the work using digital tools, assembly methods, and that also is going to give us the ability to work with some sustainable tools. And like you're hearing from Stora Enso, and bringing that into the structure, and the likes of working with wood Benton from the assembly design as well. So there's one side of it on what we're building, but what more importantly is on how we're building as well. And I think that's one of the advantages that Podium is bringing to the table in the technology side. Is the second side of that is how do we capture that data? And again, we don't go through a DFMA process from project to project, but we start looking at it from a product based, and we start seeing what are those kit of parts are from the beginning. How do we make better kit of parts by working with our construction team together to create better products? At the heart of that in our digital technology is also the digital twin. So how do we use digital twin technology to start capturing that data, building up those components of parts? And at an early stage, normally you wouldn't get in an early stage design, but you're able to analyze those kit of parts through to the assembly. You can start to understand the site logistics. You can understand what that fabrication might be off-site, and you're learning from it. That again is the benefit that we have moving from each generation as you go from one product to the next product, is that you're improving on that and capturing that data inside the digital twin as you move throughout the process. So those are kind of some of the key areas that I'd say where we're focusing on and we're looking at, and then seeing how that can be applied in the projects. Again, part of that, a lot of that has to do with how we put that R&D into the backbone and not run project from project.
Thank you. I think it's a perfect intro to the exploration of the strategic domains of Federated Innovation. Thank you, Susan. So you probably recall that each innovation agenda has selected a number of strategic domains, focus areas for the innovation strategy. The first one, and I call on stage again Anna Bortolussi from Mapei, the first domain of construction tech innovation agenda focuses on smart process for smart buildings. The big challenge, I guess, is to combine the reduction of construction time with an improvement of the quality of life of the citizens and also the working conditions on site. No? How do you plan to overcome this challenge, no, Anna, in your innovation agenda?
We are all engineers, and it's a big challenge for people used to live in the construction site that are, let's say, linked to traditions. We can do it through innovation, using and almost abuse, let's say, a concept today. But on the contrary, wanting to be faithful to Mapei DNA, and so wanting to be concrete, we are all in the group working to develop a new concept of job site where automation and robotic, these are our pillars, let's say, will decrease construction material transport, noise, air pollution, and will decrease safety risk for workers. The first step that is on our shoulder is to make possible the design of the building structure through precasted or pre-assembled modular element. It is an idea of off-site production. But not only, we want to develop hybrid materials, new combination using concrete, wood, steel, plastic. So the study of hybrid solution with new material and old material, and also in our case, in Mapei laboratory, the new generation of concrete admixture for the new concrete and the use of synthetic fiber to decrease the amount of ordinary steel. We know as material producer that we are at the base, at the beginning of the construction process. We have a huge responsibility also about the application of ESG principle, even if we are at the base. And we are aware, and we are happy about the fact that the cooperation among us, ensured by the Federated Innovation, will make the R&D, Mapei R&D path faster and richer. It's a sort of boost linked to the goal we want to achieve.
Thank you, Anna. Very interesting. There was so smart process for smart buildings. It's about the process, but also you already hinted to the research of innovative materials for these buildings. It's a perfect connection with the second domain of your innovation agenda, and for this I call in Deborah Nezzosi of Woodbaton. So Deborah, a second domain of construction tech innovation agenda. These things are obviously not isolated; they're all connected. Is called modular prefab construction systems. So isn't it about introducing innovative materials in the buildings of the future to adopt advanced production of flexible modular systems? So how these materials and how the production are somewhat connected. Help us understand a little bit better.
Yes, I have to connect my reply to what already said by Anna and by Susan, because we intend to propose new modular construction systems with two main guidelines: new materials or new combination of existing materials, such as hybrid solution, as already listed by Anna, fiber reinforced concrete, timber, metal rebars, reinforced wood, and so on. because we suppose that it's the best way to reply to current market requirements, to regulation requirements, and also to construction site needs. Then, in our idea, and I repeat what already said by Susan, our idea is to prepare these construction systems, increasing the implication of digital DFMA, because we are sure that it's necessary to improve flexibility, speed, quality, work site safety, economics, and precision of design is of assembly and in case of disassembly. The key activities we are planning to achieve these objectives will go through a phase of analysis, a phase of research and development, and a final phase of test in the laboratory or on prototypes. Our main goal is to supply a completely tested product, a product with different options, a product ready to be used in design phase and the construction site.
Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. So again, now it actually is interesting, probably for the last part, we're going to discuss a little bit about all these innovation can lead to technology scouting, looking for opportunities in the wider community. So it's like an invitation for the people listening, now to understanding better the innovation agenda and looking at them on the digital square. Maybe there are certainly tech scouting will start on some of these projects. Thank you, Deborah. Now let me call in Maria Milita from Stora Enso. So the third domain of construction tech is around sustainability and circular economy. So what is how can the construction tech ecosystem contribute to environmental and social impact, or minimize environmental and social impact? Already Deborah alluded to disassembly of the buildings, but I think there is more than that. Maybe there is also a contribution to carbon strategy, carbon emission reduction. So can you please comment on what you have in mind?
Yes, thanks for this question. Our team immediately felt the need to include this point in our agenda, considering the importance of this team. That finally this team is very important at all levels, and considering also the new environmental regulations that require new solutions for businesses and residential districts. We strongly believe that there is a need for a new, we can say, holistic approach to sustainability, including design, transport, supply chain, circularity, but also, as already said, worker safety, waste. At the beginning, we wondered how we can build it. So we traced a path to follow with some intermediate points to be reached, such as store CO2 within specific construction materials, wood, but also hybrid solution, of course. Analyze the fossil carbon emissions due to the transport operations, and eventually decrease the emissions by designing solutions that require efficient processes on site. Maximize energy saving, monitoring the sustainable supply chain, that is, for example, sustainable forest management. Calculate building dismantling times, and evaluating the possibility to recycle materials, considering the Italian normative, of course. We can't forget that Mind is an open workshop to experiment, and is also, this is very important, is also an excellent platform to disseminate the knowledge of a sustainable and innovative building. Our activities will be divided in a first analysis phase to collect data, and the second R&D phase, in which the construction team want to achieve successful technical proposal, promoting the inclusion of a new end-to-end valuation of carbon strategy since the beginning of the design, making use of numerical modeling for design, for installation, for transport, evaluating the amount of waste generated at end of life of building, and also evaluating the important ratio between cost and sustainable design, because we all know that also cost is a very important issue to consider. More or less, this is our path.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much. That's ending the overview on the construction tech innovation agenda. Let's move on to the Proptech and smart spaces. And probably the link, sustainability link is a good one to call back in Furui San from Daikin. What your thematic area wants to achieve is actually improve the resilience of buildings, making them sustainable, circular, adaptable to changes of new habits of the population. So how central is the theme of air quality and energy consumption and management in the so-called whole building management? So tell us more about this and what you want to achieve in terms of innovation.
Okay, thank you, Eduardo. For your question, so definitely, so air quality and energy are central topics in managing the building of the future, and where undoubtedly HVAC systems play a key role in providing such a resiliency. So thinking of smart HVAC operating under the smart city setting, one may look to building from an inward and outward perspectives. So first, inwards, we have health and well-being, comfort, and energy savings as the most important aspects. Health and well-being were brought to the forefront of discussion as a pandemic impact was felt all over the world. And comfort, as the technology advances, it will be self-supervised and personalized to be needs of each building's occupant. So lastly, energy savings will play a key role in achieving a Paris Agreement target for 2050. So to all these aspects, HVAC is a central part of the discussion, we think. And outwards, seeing the building as a node in the smart grid, energy demand flexibility is necessary to enable a quick and accurate response, mitigating the inherent unpredictability of renewable energy resources. So smart systems will be able to adjust energy consumption as a part of demand response programs. So to sum up, energy management along with air quality are intrinsic topics when we talk about building of the future, particularly during operation and maintenance. And answering the question regarding the innovative solutions providing from us, so Daikin can propose HVAC systems for buildings with highly efficient ventilation in combination with air purifier as direct countermeasures against COVID-19. Not only that, Daikin can harness the power of data and connect it to the actionable insight during operation and maintenance period, increasing comfort and reducing complaints. So lastly, Daikin can also provide HVAC systems not only energy efficient, but also capable of providing energy demand flexibility to the power grid and the virtual power plant operators. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's call in Silvia Bertolotti of Accenture. So the name of these thematic areas is Proptech, and the focus obviously on the building with its complex set of features. So can you summarize from your vantage point what are the main Proptechs that you're looking at, and how they will enable the transformation of these buildings and the customer and the life of people within these buildings?
Sure. At Accenture, and as previously described by Andrea Dentone, especially at our MIXIC, we are working at innovative solution for engineering and smart buildings. So our aim is to enable this transformation to support the creation of next generation buildings. And the solutions are mainly developed for the whole building life cycle. So are for the finalized assets to support the operation and maintenance and real estate processes, but also it's applicable for the construction phase. In fact, this technology are based on a data-driven approach. And because we think that only with this approach in all building phases, as for example, Susan previously explained, we can define new business models and design new services. Some example of the solution we are working at are, for example, IoT sensor that is used to enable smart services in building to monitor and capture data during the operation phase, but also the construction IoT to improve safety and productivity on site. And this is combined with digital twins technologies that are used for a digital connection between assets, process, systems, and stakeholders. We are developing also what we call engineering data digitization, that is an artificial intelligence based automated process for digitizing engineering and real estate processes. And we are working on the whole life cycle assessment management and data model standardization. And as well as we are working on management tools for safety, security, energy, health, and air quality. At least we are developing some virtual reality for buildings, for an immersive reality experience for the different phase too. So VR for integrating workers training during construction, VR to improve building operation and maintenance, and at the end to offer effective building visits to the users in a non-innovative way. So these are some of the solutions we are working at MIXIC, but we are always pushing on innovation to find new solutions.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, innovation and this solution are not for the sake of technology per se, but only to improve the quality, of life and in the cities and buildings of the future. And in fact, the theme of this roundtable is quality of life in the cities and buildings of the future. Now, let me thank you, Silvia. Let me call back in Simone Santi from Lendlease. Simone, from your perspective again, what are the emerging needs of the citizens of the cities of the future? Is actually because are they really looking for these new services?
Thanks, Eduardo. Well, look, in a way, it's anyone's guess. We're all scratching our heads, especially in this post-pandemic, or hopefully soon to be post-pandemic world. We're obviously all scratching our heads as to what people will want and need going forward. We do believe, however, that there are a couple of consolidated, I would like to say, trends that we think are substantially established, so to speak. I think that following the period that we've been through, there is a need and a desire to interact and socialize again, albeit in a safe way and through a safe environment. So what we are focusing our attention and energy on is the provision of properly sanitized spaces and spaces that provide a generous quantum of green and open spaces. I think that now more than ever, people realize the added value of being outdoors, or if anything, having accessibility to outdoor spaces and variety of spaces as well. So I think there is most definitely a trend when it comes to health and well-being, both in terms of the materials that we use to build our buildings, as many of my colleagues have said already, and B, in terms of the overall quality of the experience. I think that more and more the focus of developers like Lendlease needs to be not so much, or not solely, I would say, apologies, on the delivery of the physical product, but what will become more and more important is the focus on the long-term experience that we want our residents, tenants, visitors to be able to have and live in projects like mine. So the experiential side of what we're doing, which is in a way quite intangible, therefore difficult by definition, is one of the key areas that we are focusing on. Happy to take any questions on this afterwards. I'm conscious that we have other contributors. I could easily carry on talking, but I'll probably leave it at that for now.
Okay. Thank you, Simone. That's obviously it's a very interesting topic. Actually, it's again now we can explore, as we did for construction tech, the three innovation domains of the Proptech and smart spaces innovation agenda. So the first one is actually, and for the first one I call Aldo Sciacca from ABB. So Aldo, the first domain of Proptech that you have selected for Proptech and smart spaces is this idea actually to, it's called data-driven buildings. So the whole point is to innovate the entire life cycle, data-driven buildings, from design to contracting to retrofitting. Your goal, correct me if I'm wrong, is to prove the data-driven buildings are a win-win solutions for users as well for companies, not just for the companies, also for the users. So it's an opportunity to develop value-added services for along the life cycle of buildings. So can you help us understand what kind of value-added service you're looking for in Federated Innovation Mind?
Yes, thanks, Eduardo, for the question. I want to again emphasize the importance of the district dimension that we have here in mind. So it's not a single building for whatever purpose it is built, but it's a village, it's a district, is a city. We can then easily imagine that value-added services that can be described with words like mobility management into the area or into the building, space management, security aspects, air quality, event management, even the trivial maintenance, of things. All these things can happen into the buildings or into the district, so in the complex of buildings and in the surrounding space. So I think managing all these aspects at a level that is beyond the single building requires a strong capability to interconnect different systems that are coming from different vendors in the single building and at village, at mine district level. And this is a huge effort that, as I said before, goes typically, in most of the cases, beyond the capability of a single player. So this is why we need a strong open innovation approach to realize these use cases with value added related to mind. We need a very open again and robust data infrastructure, and we also need a certain openness in the system that would help to include developers of digital services that can help to build those the answers to those needs that I have listed before. And typically we can figure out small startups cooperating with large companies, and I think it's a real win-win situation, because the large companies tend to ensure a certain duration in time of any kind of solution is applied, and smart and fast startup have the velocity and the capability to challenge on their side. All these things will finally be a benefit with the people living and leisuring, working in the district. And we think that, for instance, one can think of a platform at higher level, kind of an app that offers certain services at district level. Can be maintenance, can be, as I said before, event management, resource sharing, space sharing, and of course, part of the innovation will be also in the business model, because we need to understand which player can play this role of overseeing at district level the use of this data and the creation of value added. And maybe it's not only technology, but it's also, the question who can exploit in a financial sound way and with a win-win situation for the users, but also for who is providing the service. This is also a piece of the innovation that we need to look for in the mind area.
Thank you, Aldo. So that was the first domain, no? The smart data-driven buildings. The second domain, I call Andrea Natale from Schneider Electric. So the second domain is about creating a new standard for ESG reporting. We heard already from Anna about the relevance of ESG even for construction tech. But what is the purpose of creating within the Federated Innovation a new standard for ESG reporting? Who are the recipients of these new standard, and what's the value? Why doing that?
Yes, ESG acronyms is getting more and more popular over this period, also out of the traditional financial environment. ESG are three letters, which are three factors. They stay for environmental, social, and governance factors. Are elements which are strongly considered during any investment decision. So the future of financial statements and reports for companies is a close integration of financial and not financial information, with specific attention to the risk and opportunities related to sustainability and in particular to the climate change. So ESG investment goes beyond these three letters, ESG, and generally address how a company serves all its stakeholders, which are workers, communities, customers, shareholders, and of course, the environment, with many individuals making responsible investment that are most aligned with their priorities. Here in our thematic area, the idea is to turn the sustainability reporting into an ongoing process over the life cycle of the building, and ideally automate the full reporting process end to end, including data collection, the collaboration among people, the task management, and the quality control. So that the idea is that people engage in this task can spend more time focusing on the project, on how to improve this parameter in the building and the performance, rather than spend time and having a huge workload in the reporting. From our thematic area point of view, smart building should be building able to provide the data needed for this report in a format which is capable to quantify and to communicate the effect of the activities which impact the environment, social, and the governance factors. And the impact, of course, on the quality of life in the city of the future, because these are key elements of a building of a district, any city of the future.
And Andrea, thank you, Andrea. I assume that by the fact that preparing this report, having a process for reporting, that also can influence decisions of key stakeholders that has an impact on, in general, the quality of life of citizens of the city of the future. So having a reliable data set also helps, other stakeholders, not only companies, to take informed decisions.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me close this. Thank you, Andrea. Let me close this with a third and final domain of Proptech innovation agenda. I remind you, like the data-driven buildings, new standard for ESG reporting. The last one is, and I call Silvia Bertolotti again from Accenture on stage. So the third one is actually to focus on tourism, cultural, sport, retail buildings with a lot of traffic, but a lot of people actually not necessarily go there every day. You know, it's just so the point is actually to create a big data ecosystem, designing maybe new data monetization strategies, exploiting new Proptech technologies to maximize the customer experience, also to maybe monetize the data collected. Can you make some examples of how the customer experience will be changed? These are not talking about offices. These are actually tourism, cultural, museum, retail buildings. Over to you, Silvia.
Sure. As we all agreed here, and as for building, we said previously, we think that we can retrieve value from customer experience, especially in this field, only when we can adopt a driven and digital approach. Because today is essential to support the new generation trends and traveling habits, and to define new processes and tools to create resilient spaces and create new user experience in a world that is rapidly changing. We previously mentioned the pandemic situation that is really transforming everything. So there are many technologies, as we previously described, that can we use, such as augmented reality, virtual reality, Internet of Things, wearable, and other data generation technologies to create digital services. And what we think is that Mind could be a place where perfect place to create an immersive experience in a continuum through spaces and activities to make the customer and the tourist to feel always supported and connected in this space. And for example, we can leverage the value of data generated by individuals accessing the buildings. We can make connected buildings by providing digital services to customer through smart mobility platform or digital energy infrastructure, for example. And this technology will be the backbone of the district where the buildings are placed to create an immersive and engaging experience for the tourists and for the customers.
Thank you, Silvia. Okay, that's actually closes the second part of this roundtable dedicated to a closer exploration of the innovation agendas of the different thematic areas. Don't forget that these are kind of published on the digital square, so there is more detail, obviously more detail that can be allowed in these with the limits of this roundtable. But I hope you know the people attending at the kind of in a good sense of what these companies are trying to achieve and would like to achieve in the near future. Now we are approaching the last section of this innovation, this roundtable. We're already talking about, okay, we have developed these ideas. Now how we can basically turn them bring them to life. So we call it this section next steps, and it closes before the Q&A. Let me call again Simone Santi for the last time. Simone, thank you for your on duty. Since the beginning, since Professor Frattini and also Paolo Testorici earlier in the plenary, they always refer to mind as an incredible test bed for these innovation initiatives. It's a huge seat in the future in the making, no? So help us understand how this opportunity will be exploited in Federated Innovation, or how to synchronize the district development with the implementation and test of these ideas.
Mm-hmm. Well, Eduardo, this is obviously something new to everyone, including ourselves. So we are building and developing this machine literally as we speak. Sometimes I refer to the airplane that's taking off while we're still building it. Hopefully it doesn't fall apart. So I think that the approach that we're having is twofold. Well, first and foremost, Federated Innovation offers us a platform that does, among other things, two really important jobs. On one hand, it allows us, I wouldn't say exclusive, but most definitely privileged access to highly innovative companies and individuals which are willing to share their know-how with ourselves and others. This presents a dual opportunity. Opportunity number one is, to your point, to deploy these innovative technologies at Mind, using the project literally as a guinea pig or as a test bed. At the same time, however, it also provides these companies with the unique opportunity to trial and test products before they take them to the outer market, so to speak. So to me, this is a unique win-win situation where we as Mind and as Lendlease have the privilege and the opportunity to establish a unique and privileged relationship with some of the best thinkers that are out there today. On one hand, and consequently, it allows us to turn Mind not just in an innovation district, but in an innovation test bed, where we can literally trial some of these unique opportunities. Some will work, some will fail, but that is part of the innovation process. And as I said, it gives also companies the opportunity to test their products before then they take them outside to the outer market. So this is the spirit and the essence that we've been working towards. And I think that it's mutually beneficial. It's beneficial to Mind because we have the opportunity, as I said, to try firsthand some of these unique ideas. And at the same time, it's a great opportunity for the businesses that we are collaborating with to test some of their products and compare them with the competition, which is not just competition, however, because we are competing to innovate and to collaborate. So that's what the Federated Innovation to me is all about. It's just a gigantic opportunity to interact with some great people, great minds, developing great ideas and great products that we can all benefit from. Thank you, Eduardo.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Simone. In fact, it's already happening. You know, these ideas are.
It is.
The connections are happening. The development teams of Lendlease are talking to the companies to see whether they can synchronize in the master plan some of these tests.
Absolutely. And the only thing that I would probably add to what I've already said is that the second opportunity is obviously to bring some of these companies in whole or part physically to Mind to start inhabiting the project. We've seen this happen already. And the first tenants that we've announced, AstraZeneca, Rolled, and Buyer for Dreams, are representative of this initiative. Not only are we collaborating with them, but they are also moving physically to Mind. And I think this will also, in the fullness of time, benefit hugely the project and the companies, allowing them to further foster innovation and collaboration.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you. All right. So I called once for the last time Furui-san from Daikin on stage. So somebody has mentioned I think it was actually Tommaso Boralevi, in his introduction to the plenary, he said, everything changed with COVID-19. So in a way, we start thinking about this ecosystem before COVID-19. So what is apart from this ecosystem, what is your vision? Do you think that the pandemic has accelerated the transition towards the kind of the city of the future, or is this kind of something that will be reversed? So what is your perspective on that?
Thank you, Eduardo. So it's a very, very important question for us. So because I mentioned we are the HVAC manufacturer and being count to the service provider. So from this point of view, so we believe we have a great responsibility because our mission is to control the air quality in building to provide comfort and healthy air, while being an active player to achieve carbon neutrality as well. So COVID-19 pointed out that health and IAQ, so IAQ means indoor air quality. So health and IAQ cannot be disregarded. So COVID-19 pointed it out. So then we need to re-establish new rules and guidelines for building design and operation, and new requirements for the air conditioning and ventilation. So although a wide range of issues needs yet to be considered, we see the pandemic has propelled propelled the advent of new technologies. So, giving you a quick example, so sensors and cameras are now widely spread as people detection technologies become acceptable. So IAQ is now in the forefront of discussion in the building. So it may pave the way to an introduction of more and more technology, people behavior, digital twins, or data visualization, and so on. So it brings us closer to the building of the future. So besides, policymakers have laid a plan for green recovery. So Europe has emphasized the need to address energy efficiency in the buildings. A post-pandemic world is now looking greener and more sustainable. To conclude, pandemic has enabled us to stop and reconsider the future of the building, how we perceive them, how we construct, and how to operate them. So we are thinking so more issues regarding COVID-19. So in this innovation ecosystem, so we continue to consider and discuss regarding this problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So one of the topics we haven't really discussed too much are the synergies between the thematic areas, in particular between Proptech and smart spaces and construction tech. I wonder whether we have at least one representative of each thematic area. For example, Andrea, Natale from Schneider Electric. So what is your, do you see synergies in the two innovation agendas? And are they already somewhat sparked some ideas?
Yes, absolutely. You heard today that there are a point of common with the agenda. And so we have key elements in our agenda which link us. Mainly are two trends. Now, there are two trends that are redefining how we design, we build, we operate, we maintain both new and existing buildings. So these two trends, one is the creation of data, the digitization. So with the Internet of Things, the artificial intelligence, big data, now we can completely digitize and connect all the system inside the building. And so get the information we need to make better and smarter decisions. The second trend is electrification, particularly with a dramatic shift to renewable sources for electrical generation. And in building, we talk about areas like space and water heating. So this new all digital, all electrical world enable us to rethink the entire building life cycle for both old and new building. So it is giving us the foundation to work together, Proptech and construction tech, and maybe some other thematic area, because if you are jumping from a session to another, you will find some other common points with other area, in order to think on how we need to create and to retrofit buildings that are sustainable, resilient, hyper efficient, and people-centric. And so we are calling this building the building of the future. Not only smart building, but the future in which together we can give more value than alone.
Thank you, Andrea. Just let's say stay tuned, because actually I would like to see whether from Deborah Nezzosi, Wood Baton, there is something to say, and from the perspective of construction tech, synergies with Proptech and smart spaces area, where looking at the different innovation agendas, no, and looking at the whole ecosystem, are there clear synergies you see in your initiatives you want to push forward? Deborah Nezzosi, Wood Baton.
In Federated Innovation at Mind, construction tech and Proptech are two thematic areas, but it's clear we speak the same language. At the center of our thematic area agendas, there is the building. And so I read have already said in a previous meeting, if the building is a body, construction tech deals with the bones, and our Proptech colleagues deals with the nervous system, and not only. We have already had an exchange of views with Proptech, evaluating the possible use of sensors to check the quality of life, the buildings, also to check the behavior, the construction components, in order to collect data to improve the design and production of the construction systems. The final goal will be to carry out an integration of our design teams and our products, not only on site, but also in the production factory, because it would mean to produce plug-and-play construction systems, and it's a quite fascinating image. The anticipation of this fusion between different systems, between construction tech and Proptech, inside our factory, enable us to achieve the best optimization of the construction process. Because it's clear that it's possible that the optimization of the structures, the optimization of our products doesn't correspond always with the optimization, for example, of the M&E installation of the mechanical and electrical system. Therefore, our synergy is basic to balance our optimizations in order to satisfy the final target in the best way. And we believe that the Federated Innovation at MIND can give a great push to these marriages between our companies.
Okay, thank you. I just want to have the same, if can, an additional perspective from Maria Milita of Stora Enso on the topic of synergy between the two thematic areas. Maria.
Yes, focusing on the sustainability issues, it's very easy to find synergies and possibility of future collaboration with the Proptech thematic area. Since we want to include the environmental impact evaluation from the early stage of the design of a building, we can think of digital computation systems of a lots of factors that influence the footprint of a building. And then we all know that after the design and the construction, we find the team of the maintenance, with especially for timber structures, is very important, is fundamental. For this purpose, we can develop sensors of various types for moisture, for structural displacements, and so on. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so let's. I just want to, with a couple of questions, to focus on an aspect that we have really explored in detail. So the broader ecosystem, the business and talent community, and with that the role of additional innovative startups, for example. So, for example, Anna Bortolussi from Mapei. How having a business community of 500 and more companies, and having a talent community so extended, can help you achieving your innovation objectives?
Yes, it seems to be the supermarket of talents. We feel lucky to be here. It's a crucial concept. This process, this path, is opening our minds, is pushing Mapei to work now for a medium-far future, out of the logic of the actual market, but also out of our comfort zone. For Mapei, the comfort zone is a catalog with more than 5,000 products that are liked from customers, that are useful for job site. We have to we have to think about the fact that most of them will be for sure used in the next years, in the next future, but many of them must be rethought, reformulated with new recipe, adopting different components as a recycled material, organic one, and who knows, because in this sort of supermarket, everything must be considered as interesting to invent something new, more sustainable. Indeed, to be innovative, circular, and to be sustainable, to really be sustainable, this broader ecosystem is really helpful, because the sharing of ideas, needs, and suggestion comes from many sources. It's a sort of contamination also in a virtuous process with the positive effect, and we can feel it. It's a powerful addition that may drive our strategic decision, even if we are simply looking to material, but we are thinking to the future material, let's say.
Okay, thank you, Anna. We are kind of approaching the end of it. We have a few questions, so I just make sure that we try to be within the time, because we have some questions that I would like to share with the participants. So, Susan, innovative startups. A comment on that. How the innovative startups can really play a role. I remember, Aldo mentioned that, but what is your point of view? Can innovative startups help the construction tech innovation agenda?
Definitely. I think what you're seeing and hearing both from Simone and now also just from Anna is we're looking at what the new products are, but there are two areas that are thematic areas looking at. It's not necessarily what we're building, but also how we're building. And I think innovative startups are going to be the key to that piece. They can come from different areas. They might be coming more on the product side, or they might be coming with new technology on how to build it, whether they're coming with new robotic systems or different methodologies of how they build. And I think the innovative startups are going to pull those systems together. And like we heard from Simone, what the Federated Innovation has an opportunity to offer them that they might not be able to do on their own is help fast track that with the go-to-market strategy. So I think they're going to be key in where we want to play next.
Okay, thank you. And we really hope that there will be certain, this ecosystem will come to life with the involvement of the business community and when onboarding of all these interesting companies. Final question for Aldo Sciacca. So we know that the ecosystem, the mind has been created, in general. So not just the Federation, but mind has been created to be sustainable by design. Just the idea to have impressive goals of being, I would say, to have really, I wouldn't say carbon neutral, but to have. So how ABB can contribute to the overall sustainability goal of the district?
Well, thanks, Eduardo, for opening the door to this very important aspect for ABB. At ABB, as you can imagine, as you know, we already have a wide portfolio of solutions for energy management that can contribute to the decarbonization ambitious target that Mind has set. And our growing engagement on circularity principles will contribute further. But I want to be very specific. You can Google what I say now. Look at the program that we are deploying at present in ABB. It's called Mission to Zero. It's under deployment at our sites around the world, also at some customers' premises. It's a combined use of renewable resources, HVAC control and management, and also taking into account the people occupation of spaces that allows a drastic reduction of the emission of our campuses. We have already verified this. I mean, it's possible. And to close, I think that for Mind, we must have in mind an ambition like this. So that's that's the vision for us.
Fantastic. And I couldn't agree more. So the last one is really to connect the ecosystem with the community or the territory around. So Deborah Nezzosi and Silvia too close on this. So Deborah, how do you see that your innovation initiatives could really benefit the community and the territory around Mind? Same question for both, and then we basically close this part of the roundtable. Deborah, maybe you want to go next first?
Yeah. Well, our innovation initiatives are devoted to environmental sustainability, technical sustainability, and economic sustainability in the construction sector. We are talking about the opportunity to build with flexible construction modules with a higher level of safety, without waste of materials, reducing pollution with affordable cost, reducing the maintenance cost, simplifying the maintenance operations, and with a relevant architectural quality. Well, this opportunity would have a great value for the community and for the territory, because it means to have the chance to improve private and public real estate properties with the consequent advantages for all of us. Mind, we suppose that Mind is the right test bed for a similar ambition, because what just described is the kind of buildings that will be hosted in Mind, the Mind area.
Thank you, Deborah. Silvia.
Yeah, I will be short. For conclusion, as Accenture and at Mixic, we put innovation in front of everything, and we think that innovation is something that when you don't have a solution yet, you feel that it's something impossible. But actually, when you start using and having some opportunities to change the way you did the things before, immediately it becomes something with an enormous value. So I think that everything that is connected with Mind and with what we are trying to achieve with the innovative solutions for the community, for the territory, will be a benefit for everyone. And as Accenture, we are acting at the forefront of digital revolution for successful community experience, and we have a pragmatic case of our commitment on adding value to the community through innovation. Just to say a quick example, we are collaborating for a free-to-move solution, a major player in e-mobility, to lead the way in both digital transformation and delivering sustainability value for our people and the community itself. So we think that this kind of initiatives that brings everyone together for the same value, I think they are very important for the community and the authority themselves.
Thank you, Silvia. Thank you. Now, this is I thank all the speakers for these very rich contribution. Now we have. I just want to remind to the people who are listening in that they can, by simply clicking open chat, they can post a question. We do have some question here that I might, because we still have like 20 minutes or so maybe we can use them for these questions. So the first one is an open question to everybody. So how was I'm reading, how was the experience to work together, develop innovation agenda with the COVID-19 restrictions? So in a way, how can you do an ecosystem of innovation working together but not being together? So it's an interesting, was I would say the effectiveness of this limited by not being physically together? Who wants to respond to that? That's just an invitation for Simone. Maybe Simone, yes. Anybody wants to say something around that? So.
Very, very happy to. Well, I would say that I think we're all surprised by the fact that not only have we managed to set up the Federated Innovation in what I think is a very successful manner. And not only is the Federated Innovation an absolutely brand new initiative, something that we at least haven't done anywhere else in any of our projects, but we've also managed to progress with the design, development, and investment of Mind in its entirety, working entirely remotely. So all I can say is I think that when, you know, in times of difficulty and hardship, people pull up their sleeves, and especially in a country as creative as Italy, we've found ways to work together that we thought we didn't have in us. So all I can say is, I'm not sure how we've done it, but a big thank you to all, because it definitely wasn't easy, and the end result was definitely not for granted. So all I can say, as I said, is thank you, and that's really it. To be honest, I hope we don't go through this again, but but it has been a huge opportunity to collaborate in creative ways. I am, however, looking forward to meeting people in flesh and bone.
Yes.
Grazie.
Prego. There is another question here, and it is what support do you expect from the national and local public institutions to make your innovative ideas possible? Oh, it's a tricky question here. So in a way, we're saying, yeah, it will be only a private investment or anything else. So Anna, thanks for volunteering.
Yes, these issues was discussed many times among us, and with the help of our ambassador, Professor Plizzari, because of the allowed, let's say, construction material are listed in the Italian norm. But this list cannot be closed, cannot be rigid, cannot be fixed. We are looking to something that is not present in this list. Maybe it will be ready to be used not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. So what we ask to the public authority, to the technical table and offices is to be flexible, okay? To be open, to be curious as we are, to know the advantage, to investigate about the advantages of new solution, of new material. This is what we need. So, and this is what we expect from local public bodies in terms of authorization, but maybe this is an issue for land lease and construction companies. And about national technical public body, we really ask open minds and cooperation, as we are working now all together.
I wonder if there is anybody else on the topic of the certainly, or maybe we can make a comment like this. So the companies belonging to Federated Innovation can be a credible partner to attract the public funds that are now available to enable certain transition from sustainability to the transformation and digital transformation in some specific industries. So obviously it's not like the PNRR is not an ATM machine. It has to be credible partners to that. So I think that's we'll see how things will unfold in the future, but certainly this group is very well positioned for that. There is another question here, and it's about sustainability. So let me read it, and then can you put in chat who wants to respond. So yeah, sustainability is great, but what will guarantee that sustainability will be the future choice of the citizens of the future? How to overcome the price challenge that makes sustainable developments too expensive for the developers and the final users? Wow, what a question. So in a way, it's not so all in all, yes, sustainable is great, but then it's still about price and how to do that, how to make sure that things. Andrea Natale wants to maybe step in and respond to this tricky question.
Yes, really tricky because maybe we have, as anticipated before, not the answer, the solution today, but we are using much more energy. The energy is every day more expensive, and so we need absolutely to be efficient at the maximum without thinking to find immediately the solution. So it's a solution that we have to find together, and together not only with private companies, small, big, but also with institutions. In fact, in Proptech and other thematic area, we thought to involve institution to sit side by side with us for some topic regarding energy efficiency. There is a set of, let's say, legislation standards at international level, which we declined into each single country, which is still in progress. And we already understood or read that the minimum requirements will not allow us to reach target not only for 2050, but also 2040, 2030. Mine stay in a city, let's say Milano, which is one of the 100 cities in the world that should be near NZ within 2030. So we have a challenge for which we are not all the solution today, and this is the reason we sit together.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. One last question I have is this, maybe given the time that we have allotted. What can you make some examples of the type of startups or technology you will be looking for? Maybe thinking about the tech scouting you're looking for, maybe just anybody wants to say something on that? I know that Andrea, Aldo described a bit what type of startups maybe can.
Yes, I can take this. Of course, startups that are active in digital, in data management at a higher level, let's say, but also I would call for startups that are very active in emission savings, So on the one hand, I see people that are keen to work on software and digital. On the other hand, people that work in the cellar to find the different energy solutions, fuel cell, hydrogen economy, how can this be applied in a context of buildings with all the safety aspect and also durability and other aspects. So I think the spectrum is pretty broad, but I would anchor this to digitalization and energy, without excluding any good idea, of course.
Thank you, Aldo. And I think actually we are kind of approaching the end of the round table. So first of all, I'd like to thank all the speakers attending these events and the attendees who are listening and posted their questions. Now, next steps, basically, it's the agendas are online, but this is just the beginning of the journey. I think everybody agrees. We're not here just to write an agenda, but to make things happen, to create impact. So these, on one end, these companies will start executing the innovation projects they've selected, and on the other end, for everybody listening in, a business community member, a talent community member, or anybody just by joining the ecosystem, you can then present your idea, submit your ideas. You heard that there is certainly a request for technologies and innovative startups to bring talent, the supermarket of talent, as Anna was saying, into the ecosystem. So thank you. With that, I thank everybody, and we close with 10 minutes. 10 minutes before the deadline. I hope nobody minds to have 10 minutes back for do something fun. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.